2 unforgettable nights in Toronto. BTS has officially arrived at their next destination. And this time, the energy feels completely different, because Chicago is not simply another stop on the tour. The Windy City is now preparing to welcome RM, Jin, Suga, J-Hope, Jimin, V, and Jungkook. After traveling across North America and completing 2 spectacular nights in Toronto, all 7 members have now arrived in Chicago, Illinois. The news immediately spread across social media. ARMY from Chicago and around the world began sharing the same message. Welcome to Chicago, BTS. But there was one detail about their arrival that quickly caught everyone's attention. A video circulating online appeared to show a blue private jet carrying the BTS entourage landing safely at a Chicago airport. The footage was not crystal clear. It was filmed from a distance and appeared somewhat blurry. But for ARMY, even a few seconds were enough. The message was clear. BTS had arrived. And suddenly, Chicago was no longer just another city on the map. It had become the next center of the BTS universe. Of course, moments like this also remind fans of something important. Behind the cameras, screaming crowds, and global spotlight, BTS still have private lives. Their arrival at an airport is not a concert. It is a personal moment. That is why respecting their privacy, keeping a reasonable distance, and avoiding interference with their movements or security are just as important as celebrating their arrival. Being a fan is not simply about getting as close to an idol as possible. Sometimes, being a true fan means knowing when to give them space. But as soon as news of BTS reaching Chicago began spreading, the atmosphere across social media changed instantly. Chicago ARMY flooded timelines with welcome messages, photos, videos, updates, and countless expressions of excitement. Because something much bigger is approaching. Soldier Field. BTS are scheduled to perform in Chicago on August 27th and 28th, and the anticipation is already building. Across the city, the BTS atmosphere is becoming impossible to miss. Posters, promotional displays, banners, merchandise, and the familiar faces of all 7 members appearing in different forms throughout the city. For someone unfamiliar with BTS, it might simply look like a massive celebration. But for ARMY, it means something much deeper. It is their way of saying, "Welcome to Chicago, BTS." 3 simple words. But behind those words are years of memories, support, waiting, traveling, streaming, cheering, and following BTS from one stage to another. And now, after a long journey across North America, the next chapter is being written in Chicago. Jungkook has once again become one of the biggest topics among fans. And it is easy to understand why. Whenever Jungkook arrives in a new city, attention seems to follow him instantly. His performances throughout this tour have already created countless memorable moments that fans continue to discuss online. But this time, it is not only about Jungkook, because Chicago is receiving all 7 members, RM Jin, Suga, J-Hope, Jimin, V, and Jungkook, together as one group. And that is what makes this arrival so special. Even before the stage lights at Soldier Field turn on, the presence of BTS can already be felt throughout the city. The members have spent years building an extraordinary connection with ARMY. And every city on this tour becomes another chapter in that story. Toronto has already delivered 2 unforgettable nights. Now, it is Chicago's turn. But there is another side to this journey that fans sometimes forget. A world tour is not simply about stepping onto a stage, performing for a few hours, and leaving. Behind every concert are flights, rehearsals, preparations, travel schedules, security, sound checks, interviews, and very little time to simply rest. That is why the hotel becomes an important place for the members to recharge before returning to work. While BTS takes a moment to recover, Chicago continues preparing. ARMY keeps arriving. Soldier Field gets ready. Merchandise lines begin forming. Banners appear across the city. And excitement continues rising with every passing hour. It almost feels as if the entire city is holding its breath, waiting for one moment. Because BTS's arrival is about much more than another concert. It is about the incredible cultural wave created by 7 artists from South Korea. They arrive in Chicago as musicians, but their influence extends far beyond the stage. It reaches social media, entertainment, fashion, shopping districts, city streets, and the lives of millions of fans who have waited months or even years for another chance to see them in person. That is the true power of a BTS world tour. 7 people can travel thousands of miles, and somehow, an entire city begins to move with them. Now imagine what happens when August 27th finally arrives. The lights inside Soldier Field begin to dim. The conversations become quieter. Then the crowd begins to roar. Thousands of light sticks slowly illuminate the stadium. Purple lights spread through the darkness. The excitement becomes almost impossible to contain. And then, silence. For just a moment, everything stops. The crowd waits. The opening beat begins. And Soldier Field erupts. Thousands of voices scream at once. Then, from behind the stage, 7 figures appear. RM, Jin, Suga, J-Hope,
Jimin, V,
Jungkook. After the flights, after the long journey, after the preparation, after the anticipation, they are finally standing in front of ARMY. And suddenly, every mile traveled feels worth it. Every airport, every hotel, every rehearsal, every merchandise line, every banner, every fan who waited outside the stadium. Everything leads to this one moment, one stage, one city, one unforgettable meeting between BTS and ARMY. But there is something even more powerful about this chapter. Chicago is not simply watching BTS perform. Chicago is becoming part of the story. Every scream from the crowd, every light stick in the darkness, every voice singing the lyrics, every phone held high in the air, every ARMY sharing the experience online. All of it becomes another memory attached to this tour. And somewhere between the first note and the final goodbye, the distance between the stage and the audience disappears. For a few hours, there is only BTS and ARMY. One heartbeat, one energy, one enormous voice. Chicago may be known as the Windy City, but for these 2 nights, the strongest wind may not come from Lake Michigan. It may come from the thunderous voices of tens of thousands of ARMY inside Soldier Field. And perhaps that is what makes this moment so powerful. BTS is not simply arriving in another city. They are arriving in a place that has been waiting for them. A city ready to sing with them. A stadium ready to light up for them. And an ARMY ready to create another unforgettable memory. Toronto was only the previous chapter. Now Chicago is waiting to write its own. And after everything ARMY witnessed in Toronto, there is only one question left. What will happen when BTS finally takes over Soldier Field? Will there be another unexpected TAEKOOK moment? Will Jungkook surprise the crowd? Will TAEHYUNG create another moment that instantly takes over social media? Or will all 7 members give Chicago a moment that ARMY will remember for years? No one knows yet. And that uncertainty is exactly what makes the next 2 nights so exciting. Because when BTS steps onto a new stage, anything can happen. One look can become a viral moment. One gesture can become the headline. One unexpected interaction can become the memory everyone talks about. And after the unforgettable energy of Toronto, Chicago may be preparing something even bigger. So as the countdown continues, one thing is certain. The stage is ready. The city is ready. ARMY is ready. And BTS has arrived. Chicago, are you ready?